And the time will start counting up. And then maybe if I go over to my PC and ask it if I'm streaming, it will say, yes, you are, Steve. Well, it's not at the moment, actually. How are you doing? Can you see me? You can see me. You can hear me. Hello, Steve. You can see me. You can hear me. Hello, Steve. Yeah, there you go. That's me. Oh, I can't see me here on my computer. Sarah over here, she can see me. Oh, there I am. I'm live now. I can see me on my computer. Jolly good. Let's turn that volume down. Hello and welcome back to Lorwyn, back to the wonderful world of Lorwyn. I always preferred Shadowmoor, but you know, well, I think we're getting some of that in the next set, aren't we? Lorwyn Eclipsed is coming. That's going to be next year, two months. We get Lorwyn Eclipsed and we get some Shadowmoor. I don't like Lorwyn. I haven't really liked anything I've seen of this set. Do we remember where we are? Yes, we've got some notes. I made some notes to say some things. Firstly, I remember exactly where we are. We're on Hostility, which is there. But I'm just going to skip backwards because I missed something. Oh dear, I really did. Here is Heat Shimmer. I missed this one, honestly. I hate Imminent Death so much that I kind of missed this. This is definitely a shit card if you're going to play fair with it. The point about Imminent Death? Heat Shimmer. The point about Heat Shimmer is that you don't have to play fair with it. The point about Heat Shimmer is it goes in the standard Loop Hero deck very nicely, yeah? So we're playing with, you know the one, we're playing with Phenomenon Investigators and Genesis Wave and Quantum Riddler and all of that stuff. Another round even. So what we've got here is a card that does go into that deck because it creates a copy. It doesn't reinforce it. I mean, all right. It does reinforce it as well. But importantly, it creates a copy. So if you put a Phenomenon Investigators into play, that rips the top copper card off your deck and pays for it. Then if you cast this Heat Shimmer at a card like that, or a Quantum Riddler, or a Bright Glass Gear Hulk, it will copy it. That will mean the trigger will go off. The deck will keep going. So it is an insta-mana filler giver, and yet, even better than that, it's a win condition because it's giving things haste. So you can absolutely cram this into your deck. We may be at the point now, we might have finally reached a point where we've actually got 10 actual versions of this. Because up until now, you know, sometimes you've had to put in a card that is just the win condition, like Full Throttle. Or, you know, I've been playing with Tempt with Discovery, which, you know, pretty much does exactly what you'd want it to do. But it doesn't, you know, it's slightly against the ethos of the Loop Hero deck, where every card just fetches the next one and pays for it. But here we've got this, which is one of those cards, but is also a win condition. We always had to wonder a little bit about what we were doing for a win condition. And like I say, that's why some people were playing with Full Throttle, maybe. But here we're just giving the creatures haste. We can just make them as big as possible. It doesn't matter that they've got Imminent Death. Because we're just going to kill somebody in one single turn. So I actually quite like the fact that it reinforces 2 times. Because it makes the whole loop a little tiny bit shorter to play. Still a bit of a faff, to be perfectly honest. But it's a little tiny bit shorter to play. We've got, as I say, we've got 3 creatures now. Which is exactly the number you want, isn't it? Having only 3 creature slots. Which affects the next card to pay for it. Loads of spells that do it. So there you go. We can't play it in Tammy, of course. It's a red one. But we're used to not playing this deck in red, are we? Because we all used to play with Capricious Hellraiser, didn't we? So, yes. I still don't like this card. Because if you try, as I say, if you try and play fair with it, it's a shit card, isn't it? But who's going to play fair with it? It's a combo piece. I'm not a Johnny. Sue me. I don't like it. But, you know, get hold of it. If you want to play one of those decks, I believe Gideon, I think Gideon was actually playing one of these types of decks this weekend in the Coalition event. You know, I have seen them in Coalition events. I certainly see people playing Phenomenon Investigators in Coalition events, but of course, Greg doesn't play Phenomenon Investigators properly, does he? This apparently makes everything fine. Let's get back onto Hostility, where we were, which we looked at. So, we're going to move on to Howltooth Hollow. What have we got? Hideaway Land. At the end of your turn, if you have less than one card in your hand, move the first card with hidden from your exile to your hand. I mean, you know, same as usual. Too expensive for a land. We did the little extra add-on. I mean, it's okay, obviously. But I want my lands to be cheaper. Sorry, I really, really, really want my lands to be cheaper. And a little extra add-on, you know, whatevs. Same as usual with all the last of the cycle. What have we got here? Target creature gains reach and vigilance until the beginning of your next turn. This is interesting. It probably gives it reach and vigilance in paper as well, doesn't it? But of course, vigilance does something entirely different in this game. So all this means is it can block if it wants to, but if it thinks it's going to die, the creature, it's not going to block. And that's not good enough for a whole card, because it's not actually, you know, making the creature bigger or anything. So, rubbish. Hunter of Eye Blights. When your opponent casts a card... This is an 18 mana 3/3. Fucking hell, that's expensive, isn't it? When your opponent casts a card, increase this card's level by 1. When this card's level becomes 3 or more, destroy target creature. Then this card's level becomes 1. So every 3 cards your opponent casts... Is that right? Because it starts at level 1, so your opponent casts a card, it becomes 2. Opponent casts a card, it becomes 3. So he casts 2 cards, and it destroys a creature. Then it becomes 1. Cast a card 2, cast a card 3. No, it's every 2 cards your opponent casts. Which, you know, is worse than Rakdos, of course. But, yeah, 18 mana 3/3 is a problem, though, isn't it? You know, I kind of don't mind. I'd like us to roll back the power level of the game, as you know a bit. And I wouldn't mind playing with a Charter again. Anyone remember a Charter? I've been playing that in the Vampire level of Duets of Mana recently, because she is a vampire. And, you know, that kills a creature. That's a big old creature that kills a creature every other time it attacks. And Argus Kos is a creature that kills a creature every other time it attacks. And this is in that ballpark, isn't it? You know, your opponent casting a card. Every 2 cards your opponent casts, it gets to kill a creature. But it's not good enough. I think we should be rolling back to the power level, to the levels of Argus Kos, away from Rakdos, and more to where Argus Kos is. But I'm not sure anyone's playing with this. It's putting the creature destruction in the hands of your opponent and what he's doing. And you don't really want to just, you know, let him cast a bunch of cards, really. So I don't think anybody's playing with that. But then I'm always surprised at the garbage that people play with. Early Belly deal 2 damage to each creature for 10 mana. Blimey, O'Reilly. Immaculate Magistrate. Activate 5 green. 5 is on the cusp of what we might consider acceptable for activate gems, isn't it? Is it me, or do they look like Daphne Moon from Frasier? Do you think? Yeah, I'm getting just a little bit of Daphne Moon there.
A bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Okay. So this is a 10 mana 2/2. To make 5 green, reinforce each elf creature you control. I'm not excited. I mean, it is just beef, and it does start small. I don't know. Maybe some people will like this one. Because it is all the elves that you're doing. I imagine there are some big elves somewhere, aren't there?
Are there?
You know? And 5 green is a few. And of course you're going to be playing this in a deck where, yeah, Twynon, Gwen Crazy Name from Origins is like a 5/6 reach elf. There you go. I'm not excited myself, but some people might be. You're going to be playing this in a green deck. You're probably going to be throwing in some gem conversion as well. So maybe you'll be popping those gems a lot. Maybe you can even get excited about playing this in Planar Chaos. I don't know. Seems unlikely that it's going to make things that big. But have a go with it. You know, like I say, it's just beef. I'm not excited by things that are just beef myself. I don't think it's going to be as exciting as you know, as the Planar Chaos things we have at the moment. I mean, the one leader I like at the moment is the 7/7 leader, isn't it? You know, and that works with elves. So, I mean, technically speaking, you could put this into that deck, couldn't you? And this would also reinforce the 7/7 changeling leader, wouldn't it? With each of its gem pops. But I don't know, I kind of feel, why would you do that? Wouldn't you kind of double down on things that just put loads and loads of elf tokens into play? I don't know what those things might be. But yeah, somebody might like this in Planar Chaos. Maybe even I'd like it in Planar Chaos. I don't know. Those are my thoughts anyways. Go and look at that changeling leader and see if you like to play it with that. Imperious Perfect. So we've got leader elf here. So this would go with this. This is a 20 mana 2/2. Not very exciting. While this creature's on the battlefield, your elf creatures get +2/+2. Right. Well, nobody's excited about a 20 mana 4/4. At the beginning of your turn, create an elf warrior token. Okay. Well, it's not like, so that the effect where it pumps up other elves doesn't matter there, does it? Because this is going to eat the elf warrior token because it's a leader. So it's a 4/4. It's getting +2/+2 every turn. This still isn't good enough for 20 mana, is it? I mean, this is better than that. When you activate a loyalty, here we go. Here's some stuff. When you activate a loyalty ability for the first time during your turn, reinforce your elf creatures 3 times. I mean, okay, I can see it now. Can I see it now? What happens if you've got 2 leaders? You see, because immediately I'm thinking, well, you're going to play it with this, aren't you? And you're also going to play it with the 7/7 shapeshifter. But hang on, there's 2 leaders then. We've got this leader elf here, and then that's got leader elf as well, hasn't it? It's got 5 different things on it. So what happens if you've got both of 2 different elf leaders in play and you put a token into play? It's probably the order they came into play, isn't it? So you're probably not actually going to want to put those 2 in a deck. But I don't know. People can have fun with elves, I think, you know? But that's too expensive for me at 20 mana. You can cheat it into play with Grist, but there are better things to do, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we might be able to have a bit of a laugh with elves and just making them reinforce a lot. Yeah, Grist first ability is cheap. There you go, and that's going to reinforce your elf creatures 3 times. That's this and that's that. They're all still just getting +2/+2. I don't know. Maybe. It's just, like I say, I'm not excited for coalition events because it's just fat. The problem with just fat is that, like, it's kind of difficult to control this level of just fat. If all the creatures are doing is hitting your opponent in the face, then you're often not going to want that for coalition events because you've got bloody objectives to do. But on the other hand, I'm skeptical with these things of this size that they're going to be big enough to damage Planar Chaos opponents. Have a play, see what you think. Certainly don't chase them. Incandescent Soulstroke. When this creature is on the battlefield, your other elemental creatures get +1/+1, but not this one. Activate 1 red. Move the first elemental creature from your hand to the battlefield for 1 red. Yeah, that's not enough, is it? That's going to go and sit in the corner, and then you're not going to be able to. And that creature gains haste and imminent death. I mean, piss off. No. Incendiary command. Got another one of these. 4 choose 2. No, it's not 4 choose 2. Option A. Deal 10 damage to your opponent's planeswalker. 7 damage to each opposing creature. Nope. Destroy. Option B. Destroy all opposing land cards. Each player discards their hand and draws 4 cards. The only reason I'm giving this the time of day is because I know the Johnnies are looking at this and going, well, look, not only is this a potential combo piece that draws cards, so if you've already built your engine, your combo engine, maybe this goes into it and it draws cards, but it also deals damage to your opponent. So again, much like the Heat Shimmer we were looking at earlier, if you want to play it fair, it's garbage. But maybe it fits into a combo deck, you know, where as you're going off, you draw a bunch of cards with it. But also, it doubles as a win condition. It's a pretty fucking slow win condition. Pardon my French. 10 damage every time you cast one of these. It's not very good, I don't think. But that's why I'm looking at it. It's because I know how the combo players think. Incremental growth. Your first creature gets +3/+3, then your other creatures get +2/+2. I guess. I guess. If you like. Ingot Chewer. When this creature enters the battlefield, you may destroy an opposing artifact support at random. They could have done just support, couldn't they? You know? Because green gets to do that with Conclave Naturalist, and that was like 11 mana. This could have just blown up a support, couldn't it? I mean, that's not powerful. No one's playing Demolish anymore. So, you know, they could have just put the Demolish on a creature, and it still wouldn't have been powerful enough. It's got Evoke, whatever. So not really good enough. Should be. No, it should be good enough if it kills a support, but it only kills an artifact support, so it is rubbish. Ink Fathom Divers is a 17 mana 3/3. They're really into this, aren't they? Really into these very high costs for creatures for some reason in this set. I don't really understand why, because that definitely isn't something that has ported over from paper, is it? The choice to make this cost 17 or the Imperious Perfect cost 20 or whatever that blue spell is that gives things hexproof cost 20. That's purely a decision they've taken themselves. And I don't quite understand why. As long as your opponent controls a blue creature, this creature gains menace. I mean, that is literally nothing. When this creature enters the battlefield, pick one of the first 4 cards in your library, fetch that card, don't put any mana in it, for 17 mana. Way too rubbish. Inner Flame Acolyte. When this creature enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains haste. Whatevs. Target creature. Oh, right, that's why it's got Evoke. Okay, right, yeah. Rubbish. Inner Flame Igniter. What have we got? Activate 3. Creature control get +1/+0 and gain first strike to the beginning of your next turn. Rubbish. Jagged Scar Archers. Here we got some elves. Now, I don't think you've probably got room to do this, have you? The beginning of your turn. So we've got reach and first strike. Okay? Now, that's an interesting combination, isn't it? Because if this creature is big, and it is going to get quite big, maybe, it will block and kill things if they are smaller than it. Yeah? So this is going to get bigger. At the beginning of your turn, this creature gets +X/+X. X is the number of elf cards you control, including their reinforcements, up to 10. You know, and you're looking over here, aren't you? You're thinking, well, I'm going to play that with Immaculate Magistrate, immediately. That's another elf. That's putting a load of creature reinforcements in. Maybe I'm playing with Imperial Perfect. That's another elf. That's putting a load of reinforcements in. I'm just not sure you've got room to put this as well. Are those your 3 creatures? Are those your 3 elf creatures? Yeah? I feel like there's going to be another one. And I still feel like the 7/7 changeling is overwriting all of this nonsense. I feel like this is the one that gets cut, I think. It's a Jagged Scar Archers. I mean, and that's if what you want to do is play with a lot of elves. Yeah, that's if you're committed to playing with a lot of elves. If what you want to do is play a blocker that kills your opponent's attackers and doesn't die, then you're playing with Sabsunan, you're playing with Vraska. Better options there. Phyrexian Vindicator's gone from standard, of course, but you've still got those 2 in standard. So I think this one gets cut when you're building the elf deck. Judge of Currents. Beginning of combat on your turn, you gain 1 life for each merfolk you control. It's not even counting reinforcements. Kinsbale Balloonist. The beginning of combat on your turn, your first creature gains flying. Garbage. Kinsbale Skirmisher. I mean, we've got a basic problem here with the Kithkin, haven't we? They've obviously, with the elves, they've decided to do elf tokens. Now, that's something that's come over from paper. We were generating a lot of elf tokens in paper. In fact, in Legacy in paper, there did used to be a bit of an elf combo deck. There was some kind of insect you used to untap your elves with. I can't remember the name of. But you could literally just like play a storm deck, just play loads and loads of elves, and they would all tap and untap each other and do things. And yeah, it was like playing a storm deck, but you would leave your storm count on the table and kill your opponent. Pretty good elves in Legacy. But Kithkin, what we're seeing at the moment is that the tribe is not producing tokens. It's just producing small creatures. And of course, small creatures are no good in our game, are they? And they've kept the size of, look, 2/2s. I mean, these are 2/2s. These 2 cards are 2/2s in paper. They've kept the size of them, even though our life totals are 6 times bigger. So we're going to need something else from this tribe. Otherwise, it's going to be the worst tribe, I think. Unless something else is the worst tribe, of course. Yeah, go on. Here's another one, you see. Yeah, just a very small Kithkin. We don't care. And probably another one. Control a giant. Yeah, just a very small Kithkin. Just a very small Kithkin. Again, we've talked about this. Does the Harbinger thing, but nothing else, this one. Very small Kithkin. When Kithkin or elf card you control is destroyed or loses a reinforcement, draw a card. Yeah, just a small Kithkin. Just a small Kithkin. And that was that. I mean, we burned through all these Kithkins, like, and this is a tribe. This is a theme of the set. So it kind of draws your eye to it, doesn't it? You know? You think to yourself, oh, I know what all the tribes do, and you look at Kithkin and they're all just fucking worthless. It draws the eye to it. I think they needed to sit down and think what they wanted Kithkin to do, like, you know, like Wizards might do when they were designing a set, and not just port them all in as 2/2s and assume they were in some way relevant. Here's a Goblin. Goblin card destroyed. Creature has +1, so it's too small. Lace with, here it is! This is the one! I saw this one earlier. I love this. Have a look at this. This might be one of my new favourite pieces of design. Target creature gains Death Touch and Vigilance until the beginning of your next turn. Then draw a card. So what's going on here? Yeah? So you're being attacked. You're playing this. It's giving your creature Death Touch when you attack. If that means anything, it probably doesn't. Your opponent probably doesn't have a defensive creatures, but you're giving yourself a defensive creature. until the beginning of your next turn. So you pass the turn, it goes on to Greg. And your creature now has a defensive ability, vigilance, and death touch. Can you see it yet? Yeah? So the attacking creature comes into you, yeah? And you've got a defender with death touch. Now, if that creature was small enough to die anyway, it will hit the vigilance creature, it will die, you didn't need death touch. However, if that creature is larger than your defender, it's just going to walk right past it. I mean, it's inspired design. I've never quite seen a card this bad before in my whole life, you know? It's inspired design, so it gives it death touch and makes sure that it's irrelevant on the card. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, it draws a card as well. How exciting. But, yeah, they're definitely one of my favourite pieces of bad design, that is. Well done. I think they deserve a little round of applause, actually. Little round of applause for Webcore for their bad design. And probably ChatGPT helped a little bit as well. What do we got here? 40 mana 5/3 defender. That sounds bad, doesn't it? Beginning of the combat on your opponent's turn, this creature gains first strike. Oh, well, now, you see, they're getting close to something here, aren't they? Because, you know, Wizards have stopped giving creatures, so many creatures anyway, just first strike all the time, and making them only have first strike in relevant combats, haven't they? So attacking creatures often get first strike while attacking. What's going on here? At the beginning of combat on your opponent's turn. So this is kind of similar to that, but the other way around, yeah? So when, in fact, they really didn't need to do it like this, so they could have just given it first strike. When this gets attacked by your opponent's creature, it's got defender and first strike. So there's potential that it might kill something that would have killed it. But nobody's getting excited by that card, though. Nobody really cares. It's too expensive. Maybe brand new players. Maybe absolutely brand new players are going to put that card into their deck. And nobody else. Lamastide Weave. Destroy the top card of your library. You gain life equal to that card's mana value. Draw a card. Okay. I mean, that doesn't sound too bad. Why does it cost 12? If that cost 1 mana, you'd play that, wouldn't you? Well, you would have done in 2016, maybe. Maybe you don't these days. Destroy the top card of your library. You gain life. Because you might gain a bit of life off that. And it immediately replaces itself. I mean, it's got the... You would never play it these days because you should be playing with mystical teachings. So you've got no room for spells that don't pull your weight in the deck at the moment. Because mystical teachings. You should be playing with that. Why aren't you playing with mystical teachings? You should be playing with it. Go and get it now. But, yeah, 12 mana is way too expensive for that, I'm afraid. Lash out when you cast a spell clash. Oh, good. That's what I wanted. A spell that doesn't do anything unless you win the clash. If you win, deal 3 damage to your opponent's planeswalker, deal 3 damage to target creature. No. I mean, that deals like 3. This is like, in paper, this is like a 2 mana spell that deals 3 damage, So distinctly relevant in sealed and draft formats. And they've left the damage the same. Garbage. Lignify. This isn't a bad one in paper. Let's see what they've done to it here. The base power and toughness of target non-token creature becomes 0/4. Base power and toughness. Okay. Then that creature loses all of its evergreen abilities. I mean, I don't really like it. Because it still does everything, doesn't it? Okay, fair enough. It doesn't have lifelink, and it doesn't have defender, and it doesn't have double strike. But if it's a Rakdos, it still kills something every turn, doesn't it? And that's still really dangerous, yeah? Now, Rakdos, of course, is not going to get +6/+6 every turn. It's going to become a 0/4 creature that gets +0/+4 every turn. But really the important part is the fact that it's still a Rakdos and it's still killing your stuff, isn't it? So Yes, you'd want it to lose all creature text, wouldn't you? Isn't that what it does in paper? I'm going to go and have a look in paper. Lignify. I'm pretty sure it loses all card text. No, I don't want to know what the actual word means. Don't be ridiculous, Google. Loses all abilities. Yes, you can see what they've done there now, haven't you? So in paper, what happens is the card starts acting as if it's got no text on it. So it's literally a 0-4 wall. Now, you know, more interesting in paper because you can then block with that 0-4 wall. But it is a removal card. And they could have translated that into our game. But they decided not to. I mean, it's kind of pointless, really, you know, because creatures don't block anyway. They could have just, you know, permanently disabled the creature. That would have been roughly the same as the creature losing all text all the time. So we're ending up with like a sleep with the fishes type thing. So, yes. I expect there's some people who are going to have fun, like filling up all Greg's creature slots full of nothing. Because it's not too hard to do that now. You've got that new crib swap. That creates a 1-1 shapeshifter under Greg's control. There's, of course, Old Faithful turn to frog. And then you've got this. You can permanently make something a 0-4. So, you know, you can fill up Greg's creature slots so he can't play anything. But I think we've moved way past. I haven't used that strategy since, I don't know. Yeah, probably 2016, 2017. So I think we've moved way past that now. Yeah. Punted that one, I think. Lowland Oaf. Giant Warrior. Or a Warrior Giant, maybe. Your first Goblin creature has plus blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatevs. 9 mana 3/3? No, I don't think a 9 mana 3/3 gets into mid shit tier, does it? Does it even get into high low shit tier? I mean, it's not low. It's obviously not. A 9 mana 3/3 obviously isn't low shit tier. Does it get into high? Maybe it does get into high low shit tier. Who knows? I should sit down and work all this out at some point. But then where would the fun in that be? When you cast an elf card, create an elf warrior token. Again, that's not enough, is it, for the deck that you're all thinking of that plays with those elves we were looking at before? Yeah, actually casting a whole elf card creates one single elf token, and this has to take up one of your creature slots in order to do it. No, that's not good enough. Lissalana Scarblade. When this creature enters the battlefield, you may discard the last elf card in your hand. If you do, destroy the first opposing creature. I mean, obviously not good enough. Is there something here? Could they have made this better? Discard the last elf card from your hand. That seems too narrow, really. You know? I mean, it's already a 2-for-1. It's already shit, isn't it? Because you've got to play this, which gives you a 1-1 in play, which is virtually nothing. Then you've got to discard a card from your hand as well. So you're 2-for-1ing yourself. Getting rid of 2 cards from your resources to get rid of one of your opponents. But even if you were to like make this 1,000 times better, I don't know, I just think they're barking up the wrong tree by saying discard the last elf card. Again, you can do that in paper when you're building for draft and sealed. I don't think there'd ever be a place for this in Magic Puzzle Quest. Lorwyn just isn't a good fit for this game, I'm afraid. Just a whole tribal set just isn't a good fit for this game. What do we got here? 11 mana 2/2. Rare. I mean, we want to think, immediately we think Colours of Magic, don't we? But just the simple fact that it's a tribal card, that it's a goblin in a tribal set, even before I've read the text, makes me think, no, it's not going to happen. While this creature is on the battlefield, your other goblin creature, +1/+1, whatever, activate 2. Your other goblin creatures gain regenerate 5. I mean, it's just nothing, isn't it? It's a nothing card that does nothing. Makeshift Mannequin. I seem to remember this being okay in paper. I want to say it made a copy of an opponent's creature, maybe. I'm going to go and have a look at that again. Makeshift Mannequin. We're going to go and see what the paper was, because I seem to remember that being okay in paper. It costs 4 mana. Return target creature card from your graveyard to play. But it's flimsy, so whenever it becomes a token, a target of something, it dies. What do we got here? 16 mana flash. It's expensive. Pick one of the first 4 creature cards from your graveyard. Return that creature to the battlefield under your control. That creature gains finality. I mean, I don't really see why it needs to have flash. Does anyone see why that needs to have flash? And so it's just an expensive. We have this in Origins. This is one of the very first cards they made. Is just get a creature out of your graveyard and put it into play. I suppose the Origins one did not let you pick one of the first 4 creature cards, so you've got that little bit of option there. But it seems too expensive to me. I mean, it's definitely too expensive in a world with Grist, but it seems too expensive even in a sensible world. Marsh Flitter, 15 mana 1/1. Yeah, okay. I was saying that the Kithkin are just a rubbish tribe, aren't they? Fairies have got exactly the same problem, and we've known this. They're too small. We've already seen Scion of Uza. Scion of Una. When this creature enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1s. Yes, 2 1/1s. Destroy a goblin rogue token you control. If you do, this creature gets +3/+3. But it's tied to activate 1. So yeah, just way too small. Masked Admirers. I'm sorry. Why did I say Masked Adventurers? I don't know. When this is quite good in paper, I think. When this creature enters the battlefield, draw a card. That card gains 6 mana. I mean, better than a lot of cards we've seen in the set, but still not getting up to the standard we would require for standard. The standard of standard. When you cast a creature card, if this card is in your graveyard, return this card to your hand. Oh, I mean, immediately my interest is piqued by a card popping out of the graveyard. I love cards that pop out of the graveyard, as some of you all may well know. Blood Operative being one of my favourites. We don't have a lot that I like in this game, so I'm always on the lookout for them. There was a vampire one time, wasn't there, that used to pop out your graveyard when you gained life. Oathsworn. I want to say Oathsworn Vampire. I was reminded of the existence of it the other day. For some reason, I don't remember. I think I was looking through somebody else's decks that they had saved. When this creature enters the battlefield, draw a card. This card gains 6 mana. It's just not powerful enough. It's just not powerful enough as a package. I love creatures that pop out of the graveyard. Give me more creatures that pop out of the graveyard. This one isn't good enough. I mean, you struggle to put this in high shit tier. But this is better than a lot of cards in most of shit tier. So I guess you can put it into low high shit tier. Marrow Commerce. Merfolk. What are the merfolk? Do we know what the merfolk are like? Have we built up an idea of what the tribes are? Like, goblins aren't good enough, and fairies aren't good enough, and Kithkin aren't good enough. Those are what those tribes do. And giants are a bit bigger than those, but still not good enough. Have we built up an idea of what the merfolk do? I mean, I think they mill cards in paper. Now that's dangerous, isn't it? Because if they turn them into a tribe that mills in Puzzle Quest, they'll just end up doing literally nothing. At the beginning of your turn, your merfolk creatures get +0/+2 in vigilance. Yeah, rubbish. Marrow Harbinger. Okay, so this does have an extra little thing tagged onto it, apart from the Harbinger thing. And the extra little thing is, as long as your opponent controls a blue creature, this creature gains Menace. I mean, we've seen this before, haven't we? If your opponent controls a blue creature, the creature gains Menace. They're making it a thing. Why would they make something so bad a thing? But it's the Harbinger mechanic, so all of the Harbinger things. Marrow Regeray. Now, this is a good one in paper. because it's a 2/2 that gives +1/+1 to your merfolk, and that's relevant. But oh look, it is also here a 2/2 that gives +1/+1 to your merfolk, which is not good enough here. When this creature enters the battlefield or attacks, we like those words, your merfolk creature get +1/+1 until end of turn. I mean, honestly, even if it did +1/+1 permanently, you still wouldn't like it, would you? When you cast a merfolk creature, your first merfolk creature gains vigilance. Yeah, they've done badly by Mero Regery, which honestly was a, I think made it into the paper Legacy Merfolk deck. Legacy Merfolk I used to really enjoy playing because it was the one blue deck that just didn't have room for Brainstorm in it, which was kind of ridiculous, really. Brainstorm is such a cheap and such an efficient card. It's like Brainstorm was the fixed version of Ancestral Recall. And so anyone playing with blue, if they had half a brain, would put Brainstorm into their blue deck. Some people used to just splash a bit of blue, mostly so they could put Brainstorm in it. Brainstorm being really amazing in Paper Legacy because of the fetch lands, which would shuffle your library. But Merfolk in Paper Legacy was so balls to the wall as far as creatures went that it just didn't have time. You couldn't find the time to stop casting creatures to find one mana in a turn to play a Brainstorm. No, it was just here's some Merfolk, here's some more Merfolk, here's some more Merfolk. And Regery was quite an important part of that deck. And I liked playing that deck. And it looks like Merfolk are really shit in our game. Beginning of combat on your turn, create a Kithkin soldier. Yeah, I mean, come on now. Really? A single 1/1 token every turn. Is that worth a whole card? Does anyone think that's worth a whole card? A single 1/1 token? No. Mirror Entity, again, I've seen... Yeah, this is another part of why I find this set depressing, I think. I mean, there is the whole thing about, you know, the tribes just not really working in our game, in Magic Puzzle Quest. But I'm afraid also a part of it is that I was playing these cards at the time. I remember these cards. I have happy memories of these cards. And now they get translated into our game. They're no doubt garbage. Let's see what we've got here. 12 mana 1/1, activate 8. Right, well, you know my thoughts about really high activate numbers. It's not a good way to solve the activate mechanic. It does make them relevant, you know. Nobody's complaining about Demolition Field having activate gems because it puts so bloody many on the board. But, you know, more than one card on either side with that many activate gems and you can't bloody tell what's going on. Activate 8. Your creatures' base, power, and toughness become 1/1. And gain changing. Then your creatures get +1/+1. Okay. So it makes your creatures small first. That's the thing. I mean, obviously this is a 1/1, so that's unimportant. Yeah? And then you've got 8 activate gems on the board, and whenever they pop, all your creatures get +1/+1 permanently. Again, I'm not really excited by that. I don't think that's going to get our life total, our damage totals up to the level where we want to use it in planar chaos, especially considering how slow it's going to be. I mean, can you imagine? Activate 8, yeah? And then you play a conversion spell. You convert the whole board. 6 of them pop and you've got to wait for the little streamers to crawl slowly around the screen, pumping up your creatures one at a time, +1/+1, and then one at a time again, +1/+1. So yeah, mechanically and just animationally, is that a word? This is going to be too slow and boring to play. And that's all it's got, really, isn't it? I'm not sure why it makes everything really small before it starts pumping them up again. But not good enough, I'm afraid. Oops, I touched the wrong bit of the screen. Oh, where the hell were we? Mirror Entity, that's where we were. Mistbind Clique. I mean, I don't care. I've seen, I think Main Luke posted a picture of himself having played a lot of fairies, and his Mistbind Clique was, I don't know, maybe it was 50-50 or 100 or 100. I'm going to be playing with the 7/7 Changeling leader. I'm not excited by a 4/4 defending leader. But if you want to play with that, have fun. Don't chase it though. Moonglove Extract, we've seen this, haven't we, in the terrible, terrible Lorwyn 5 event. When the support is destroyed, 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. And there's nothing much to be said about that. It's clearly garbage. Moonglove Winnower, 2/3 Death Touch, pointless. Mosswalk Bridge, what have we got here? You creatures. Oh, this was the one of these cycle of lands that was spoiled, wasn't it? Creatures, total power 20 or greater, move first card with hidden from your exit to your end. I mean, why not? People like win more cards. There's going to be a certain number of people who are actually going to play with this and actually like it a little bit. So have fun with it. It's not good enough. Mournwelk, what do we got here? Oh, terrible Lorwyn 5 event again. When this creature enters the battlefield, your opponent discards the last card without mana from their hand. Well, that's the worst thing for them to be discarding, isn't it? We want them to discard the first card with mana from their hand. And it's a 15 mana 3/3. Whatevs. There's a goblin that's too small. 9 mana? You'd think that would be 3, wouldn't you? Mole Drifter. Does this look like a Colours of Magic card? 11. Yeah, and it's a 2/2, and when it enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. It doesn't really seem powerful enough, does it? And we're having less problem now that Painful Quandary has gone. I think we're having less problems now, aren't we? We're generally exiling more cards. You can play Cracked Skull, and people do play Cracked Skull. That's the good discard card. You can play more discard on top of that. I don't really see people playing more discard on top of that. I don't think that one's good enough for Colours of Magic. But it's certainly not awful. But it's not particularly good. Nameless Inversion. Target creature gets +3/-3 until end of turn. Yeah, again, they've kept the numbers the same from paper, rendering it rather shite. Nath of the Gilt Leaf. Here we go. Have we seen this one? I don't think we've seen this one. I think this one's in the current Elite pack. So this is a 12 mana 4/4 with reach. Too small. At the beginning of your turn, your opponent discards the last card that can be discarded from their hand. Again, we don't really want to be getting rid of the last card, but whatever. When your opponent discards a card from their hand, create an Elf Warrior token. Now, we've got something rather similar to this already. It's a Scarecrow, isn't it? It's in black, it's got lifelink. Yeah, ossified something or other. And we all play it, don't we? We all play it in the Silver Jewel. Is it common? Do we play it in the Commoner's Cup as well? I can't remember. And I think that card is better than this one. It's really what you want to be doing with this type of card is making your opponent discard a card every turn. This isn't doing that well because this is going to drop dead. This is a 4/4 with reach, so it's going to drop dead. Yeah? You putting an Elf Warrior token into play every turn? I don't think we give a shit about that. It's just a 1/1. So yeah, ossified, whatever the hell it is. What's it called, Sarah? Can you tell me what it's called?
I don't know.
Oh, you're in the middle of a game. Okay, you can't tell me what it's called. You all know the one I mean. Anyway, you all know the one I mean. I'm not going to go and look. It's better than that anyway. And it's like common or uncommon. That's a really bad card for a mythic. Really bad card. Nath's Buffoon. When your opponent casts an elf card, your creatures gain prevent damage in the beginning of your next turn. I mean, okay. Wow, I can't believe it even does that in paper. Do you know, that's such a narrow thing for that card to do. I can't even believe it. Again, I'm going to go and have a look and see what it does in paper. Nath's Buffoon. See what it says. It says protection from elves. I mean, that's quite different, isn't it? Protection from elves is quite different from when your opponent casts an elf card, your creatures gain prevent damage until the beginning of your next turn. So they've crafted that. Have they put even the slightest piece of thought into who might use it? And what that card might do other than take up space in boosters? Nath's Elite. What have we got here? We've got Berserk here. Ugh. I mean, Nick, come on. This is a real Origins card, isn't it? Isn't Rocks, I want to say Rocks Maulers is a lot like this. Anyone remember playing with Rocks Maulers? In fact, I think it costs 11. Let's go and have a look, Rocks Maulers. So we've got a 4/2 Berserk for 11. And if you win the clash, it gets +2/+2. That I got this game. Rocks Mauler. So again, yes, we've got 11. We've got 4 power, but 4 toughness this time. Berserk, again, yeah. And now this one's renowned too. So if it attacks... No, it's not that Scarecrow. No, it's the one that makes you discard. It's a 2/2. Sarah's just looking for that Scarecrow I was talking about. It's a 2/2 and your opponent discards a card every turn. Osseous Stick Twister. That's the one. Thank you very much, Sarah. Yeah, play with that and not Nath of the Gilt Leaf. Anyway, we were on to Rocks Maulers. So that had the Renown mechanic. Do you remember that? The Renown mechanic? I imagine Webcore will rediscover the Renown mechanic at some point and think, oh yeah, we'll put that on some cards. And do you know what? If they do, it will probably be better on cards than Regenerate is. And now, so that was a card, Rocks Maulers was a card we all grew out of playing in 2016. And now they've given us a new version. As if we would care. With Clash on it, no less. Don't like it at all. How far did we get? Nath's Elite. Garbage, garbage, garbage. Neck Snap. I mean, this sounds like a removal. 13 mana's too much though, isn't it? When the first creature your opponent controls attacks, destroy that creature and this support. I mean, that's way too expensive. We've seen this before. The Hunter, new stick to... Oh, hello, the Hunter. Are you? And sorry, I didn't have the chatter because I keep flipping over on my PC. yeah. I keep flipping over on my PC to like search for cards myself. I wasn't looking at the chat. Osseous Stick Twister, thank you very much. Yes, we got there in the end and would have got there a lot sooner if we'd just seen what people were saying in the chat. Hello! Next up, too expensive for a removal. We say we've seen this, haven't we? Doesn't it cost like 9 mana before? Mind you, earlier versions of this might have only 1 shield. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not paying 13 mana for it. Nectar Fairy, too small. Target elf or fairy creature gains lifelink rubbish. A lot of activate ones here, haven't we? A lot of activate ones. You would think they would know that activate 1 is shit. Needle drop 1 damage to any target, draw a card. Nope. Nope. Nettlevine Blight. What do we got here? This looks interesting, doesn't it? I kind of like the art on this. I think, okay, so the Blight is the purple stuff. That is just a treant, isn't it? And the actual Blight is the purple stuff. It's entwining around him. So this is a support card. At the end of your opponent's turn, destroy an opposing land card at random. If you can't, destroy an opposing creature. At the beginning of your turn, this support loses 1 shield. Yeah, I like that, actually. I mean, you know, it's less powerful than Rakdos, but we would like to return to a world where Rakdos is too good, you know? And Also definitely less powerful than Duretti, the Vanguard. Yeah. If for the only reason that, Duretti, you can keep adding shields to it if you want. You can remove shields from that Vanguard to kill things. Or you can add some shields and get a little tiny blocker out of it. But I don't mind it as a thing that goes into play. This should be quite a decent card. Do you remember when... this is the kind of mindset I'm in here. Do you remember when what was that 5-colour thing? The Cami War. Do you remember that? That was a genuinely good card, wasn't it? It killed a thing, it bounced another thing, it put a 6/6 dragon into play. That was a genuinely good card that's definitely not good enough for the standard of today. And this is the same thing, isn't it? This is along those kind of lines. It might blow up a couple of things. It's slowly withering away. But it's not good enough for the standard of today, unfortunately, But I don't know. Should they be making cards like this? That's the thing. Can they afford to make cards for the standard that we're going to get in a year's time? Because if the best cards in this set are not good enough for standard, but they might be good enough in a year's time, is everyone just going to get bored of the game? I have not put a new card in my standard deck since Mystical Teachings. Shall I show you my standard deck? I'll show you my standard deck while I'm here. So this is a deck I play in all coalition events. Where I can, obviously there's some things where I can't. But even if I have to play with certain objectives, I will side out just one card from this deck. You've seen it before, so I'm not going to dwell on it. So I'll side out Marvo there at the end, and if I need to, as a specific objective, I need to deal direct damage to things or something like that. Or Hunted Bone Brute I'll put in if I need to kill my opponent's creatures and I don't trust the fact that he's just going to play them. The important thing about this deck is just the fact that I believe Mystical Teachings. If we look, we've got LCI, OTJ, LCI, OTJ, Bloombrewer. No, that's Bloombrewer, that's Duskmourn. Foundations. Yeah, the most recent card in this deck is Foundations. We've had what? Is it 5 sets since then? What have we had since Foundations? We've had Lorwyn, we've had Edge of Eternities, we've had Ether Drift, we've had Tarkir Dragonstorm, and now no, I said Lorwyn. So maybe 4. Have we had 4 sets? Oh, I'll tell you how I can how I can find that out. I can go in here, can't I? I can go filters. What were I forgetting? 5 sets. Ether Drift, Tarkir, Ravnica. That's what I forgot. Edge of Eternities, Lorwyn. So I put no new cards in my deck. I'm pretty competitive as well. I basically haven't lost a coalition game at all this year. I had a crash sometime in March. That's it. Can they really afford to keep doing this? Yeah? Then maybe they've noticed that power creep got too bad around OTJ. Yeah? Well, they didn't notice at the time because they gave us Dragonhawk, and then they gave us Overlord of the Flood Pits and a few more Overlords, and they gave us Mystical Teachings. But basically, since then, we haven't had anything absolutely disgusting. They do keep giving us things like Bright Glass Gearhulk and Quantum Riddler. They do keep giving us pieces for the Loop Hero deck. But those cards really only work in the context of that deck. There's a lot of people who can't put together that deck because they can't get 10 of those things together. Yeah. So I think they noticed they were power creeping, they stopped power creeping, and we've had 5 pretty rubbish sets in a row as a result. Are they just going to keep doing that? Are they going to give us 6 or 7 rubbish sets next year, and then we'll start looking at the cards here when everything rotates out, up to and including Foundations? then we're going to start reevaluating cards. I don't know. I don't know if people are going to be very happy with that. Am I happy with it? I mean, I kind of don't. I'm a lifer, you know. I just keep playing the game. I'm kind of fine playing my same coalition deck week in, week out. I'm like this whenever standard turns up. I settle on a deck that I like and just keep playing. I was like it in the previous iteration of standard. I was like it in the iteration of standard before that. Anyway, that was a long little diversion, wasn't it? Let's head back. How are we doing for time? Oh, we got to 10 o'clock. I think we're probably keep going for a little bit. Where did we get to? We got to Nettlevine Blight, that I would like to be a good card, but isn't in the context of current standard. Which is it's a funny position to be in, reviewing cards and going, yeah, I like the imaginary parallel universe where this is good, that we definitely don't live in. Nightshade Stinger can't block, it's rubbish. Nova Chaser. When a non-token elemental creature, so this is a 10-2 leader actually, that's quite important before we start reading text. 10-2 leader, but it has Berserker. It does have the decency to have trample, but it is kind of drop dead, isn't it, you know? Even if you reinforce it a couple of times, it's dealing 40 damage, you reinforce it 3 times, dealing 40 damage, but it can only take 8 damage before it dies. And it is going to keep running into creatures. It's not like you can ignore your opponent's creatures and just deal that damage to your opponent's face, which is probably what you would want to do if you were dealing loads and loads of damage. You probably want to ignore all your opponent's creatures. But no, this is just going to keep running smack into things. This is the same problem with Master of Cruelty, isn't it? That he can half your opponent's life total, but he's always going after creatures that are in play first, and you kind of don't want him to. Anyway, so Leader Elemental. When a non-token elemental creature enters the battlefield, this creature gets +3/+0 and gains prevent damage until end of turn. Now I'm going to assume he triggers when he comes. It looks like a she actually. I'm sorry. I'm going to assume she triggers when she comes into play herself. And again, I do like the elemental artwork. The design of the elementals is cool, I think. But it doesn't matter that she triggers when she comes into play because she's not going to attack that turn because she doesn't have haste. So a second copy of her that you put over the top of her, you know, will then mean that she has prevent damage. And you want her to be having prevent damage because she's got Berserker and she's got low health. Bloodghast. This to me looks like a worse version of Bloodghast. It's like a bad way of killing your opponent's creatures. And you really want to, you're having to do a lot to keep it alive with prevent damage. And you really want to just smack your opponent in the face. So why not just play with Bloodghast? Yeah, drop a load of cards in your graveyard. Oh, do you know, I haven't played with Bloodghast and Space-Time Anomaly yet. I should try that. Drop a load of Bloodghast in your graveyard, play a land, and then just don't bother with this berserking shit. Bloodghast is flimsy. It's only got 2 health as well. But it doesn't waste time attacking your opponent's creatures. It just swings for the face. I don't like it. I'll be interested to see if people do. But I don't like it at all. Oaken Brawler is one of those. Oak Gnarl Warrior is one of those. I mean, so look, yeah. So we've had goblins, fairies, kithkins. I couldn't tell you about merfolk yet. All of those, the features of those tribes is they're all way too small and pointless. Giants are slightly larger and pointless. These are larger than that. Look, here you go. 13 mana, 5/7 vigilance. We're getting into mid-shit tier there, aren't we? You know? So that's what I'm saying, is that the feature of tree folk is that they're in mid-shit tier. Whereas the feature of those other tribes is they're in low shit tier. Oh dear. We want something like zombies. We want zombies from Shadows over Innistrad. They were a good tribe. I used to like playing with those. Just keep popping out the graveyard all the time. Oblivion Ring. I don't get this. I got this out of a pack earlier. I don't understand it. On the surface, it's your basic bind card, yeah? And quite a good one as well on the surface. When this support enters the board, exile a random non-token opposing creature. If you can't, exile a random non-token opposing support. So it's your random bind card. We all know what bind's going to do. This card gains the bind emblem. Yeah? But this can get rid of either a creature or a support, you know. But then it's got this very weird sentence, right? Do all of that, this card gains the bind emblem, but then it says, this support loses a reinforcement. Now that doesn't mean a shield, does it? It's not like you're putting this into play and it loses one shield. No, it means a reinforcement. So what it means is that this Oblivion Ring is going to immediately die. Doesn't it? That's what it means. When this support is exiled or destroyed, return the last card with a bind emblem from your opponent's exile from play under their control. So you put it into play and you want to bind something, and you would expect whatever it's binded to fuck off out of play until this gets removed, and then this immediately removes itself. And it's not like you can give it more reinforcements easily, because every copy of this you put into play, as soon as it enters the board, it's going to lose a reinforcement. Oh, I suppose it's not going to lose a reinforcement. Aha, it's not going to lose a reinforcement because of the then clause, which as we all know means if. It's not going to lose a reinforcement if your opponent has nothing in play. Okay, fine. So there is a rather useless way in which you might end up with multiple copies of this, so that when you do remove something, it doesn't immediately vanish and put it back into play again. So, as written, it looks really crap. Maybe it doesn't actually work like that, you'd think. Maybe it's a spelling mistake or a printing error or something. Who knows? But as written, it looks unbelievably crap. And it kind of works as a flicker effect, doesn't it? Because you remove something and you immediately put it back, basically. But as has been pointed out to me by my assistant Sarah earlier in the day, who wants to flicker one of your opponent's creatures? That's a bit pointless. So I don't know what's going on there. I think that's probably like an error on the card or something that snuck through when they were supposed to be checking ChatGPT's output. That's what I think. Una's Prowler, when a player discards a card, this creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Was this in the Terrible Lorwyn 5 event? I think this might have been in the Liliana deck. Anyway, it's not big enough. Paperfin Rascal. Not big enough. I mean, it looks kind of like Merfolk. From the look of this, it looks like the thing that Merfolk does is be exactly the same as Kithkin, doesn't it? That's what it's looking like to me. Pepper Smoke. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. If you control a fairy card, draw a card. My God, what a piece of shit. What what an appalling piece of shit. Oh, Pestamite. Now, this is definitely a thing in paper, but you know they've got to have fucked this up. What have we got? When this creature enters the battlefield, your first creature without vigilance gains vigilance. So what Pestamite does in paper is when it comes into play, it taps or untaps something, I think. So in fact, it can form the basis of combos. You can get like infinite combos with Pestamites that generate multiple copies of it in play. Yeah, when it comes into play, it taps or untaps target permanent. And it's got flash, so you can like stop something from attacking. But all this does is give something vigilance. Pointless. Plavonites. Pointless. Pollen Lullaby. Disable your opponent's creatures until end of turn. Then clash if you win opposing creatures get stun counter 1. I mean, this would not be, even without the clash, You know, if it just disabled and stunned for one turn would not be good enough at 13, and it does clash, and so therefore it's crap. Ponder, this is interesting, isn't it? Pick one of the first 2 different cards from your library, fetch that card, it gains 4 mana. Does this look like anything to you? It does, actually, since you asked, Steve. This looks a lot like Talent of the Telepath, doesn't it? Was anyone crying out for a worse version of Talent of the Telepath? I'm sure you're all dying to tell me that it has to be worse than Talent of the Telepath because it's uncommon. I mean, is that true? Oh, I think Illicit Shipment was uncommon, wasn't it? Let's go and have a quick look. Here's what Talent of the Telepath looks like. I'm sure you all know, but here it is anyway. You look at the top 3 cards of the deck. You pick one of them, it gains 6 mana rather than 2 cards and gaining 4 mana. Here's Illicit Shipment, which I believe was uncommon. Maybe I'm wrong about that. And that was an upgrade. Yeah, this is uncommon. That was a strict upgrade to Talent of the Telepath. Look at that. Pick one of the first 4 cards from your library. Fetch that card, it gains 6 mana. Now, these cards we play in Legacy. They're quite good for, you put them in your deck. You might get a Dark Ritual from them. You might get a Startled Awake from them. I've got this in my Peer Servant deck. You know, I've got this in my Premier Omni deck, Illicit Shipment. But was anyone crying out for a worse version? Because now we've got Ponder, which is choosing 2 cards from 2 cards and putting only 4 mana in. I don't think there's really a place for it. It's, you know, not the worst thing in the world, but you're going to immediately just move on from using this card. Where the hell am I? Ponder, here we go. It's going to immediately move on from doing it. The really key thing about Illicit Shipment is that there are things in your deck that you want to cast straight away with it, and Ponder's only putting 4 mana in. That's massively cutting down what you're going to automatically cast with it. So, I don't know, just give us another Illicit Shipment, why don't you? That's not in Standard anymore. Why not just make another Illicit Shipment? Ponder's a bit of an iconic card. It's like a fixed Brainstorm Ponder in paper. Just give us another Illicit Shipment. Why not? What have we got here? Primal Command. Option A, gain 15 life. Nah. Return opposing support to the top of its owner's library. Nah. Okay. Not excited by that for 10 whole mana. Option B, shuffle all cards in players' graveyards into their libraries. Right, okay. Pick one of the first 4 creature cards from your library. Fetch that card. That card gains half its mana. Yeah, that's not good. So option A is rubbish. Option B isn't really a powerful enough way to get rid of somebody's graveyard. We're kind of crying out for really good ways to get rid of graveyards. And this most definitely isn't it. Profane Command. Your opponent... Oh, I think we've seen this one, haven't we? I think this was in the booster. Opponent loses 12 life. No, return the first creature costs 10 or less. Yeah, we've definitely seen this. Seen it. Protective Bubble. I don't think we've seen this. I've seen this. As you can see, I've ripped it out of a booster. I mean, what the hell is this? Your first creature gains unblockable and hexproof. I mean, you would never, if you saw that card without the mana cost, you would never put a 20 on it. Where are they getting these numbers from? Prowess of the Fair. When a non-token elf creature you control dies, you may create an elf warrior token. Is this going in the elf deck? I don't think this is going in the elf deck. Not powerful enough. Purity. How are we doing? 190. Where was Hostility? Let's go and see where Hostility was, because maybe if we got through enough cards, I think we might call it a night fairly soon. Hostility was 117. So we've been through 117, 190, 70 cards. Let's go keep going a little bit longer, and then we'll see if we can't squeeze all the rest of the cards. Let's do another 5 or so cards then. See if we can't squeeze all the rest of the cards into part 5 of the set review. Now, we've been intrigued, haven't we, by some of these. We like Dread. Well, we certainly looked at Hostility and said, well, maybe there's something that worked with that. And we looked at Guile and we said, maybe there's something that worked with that. So let's see what this does. Again, too expensive, really, at 22 mana. 6/6 lifelink. If a source, well, we know it's going to get bigger because all the other ones get bigger. We like the idea of an enormous fuck-off lifelinker, I think. If a source would deal damage to you, prevent 5 of that damage, then reinforce this creature. This effect can trigger up to 2 times per turn. So again, as always with all of these cards, we're looking for an effect that can trigger it multiple times a turn. Yeah. Anyone got any idea? It's not really good enough to just have it get, because if you want a 6/6 that gets +6/6 every turn, you just play with Rakdos, really, can't you? So in order to really want to play with this card, we're going to look at, we're finding something that deals damage to you every turn and multiple times a turn. So it's over to you, Johnnies. Have fun building around Purity. Because I honestly don't know. There may be something for Purity or Hostility or Guile. There may well be something that just immediately you put it down and you're giving the creature +40/+40 every turn. And then we're definitely talking in Planar Chaos, I think. So, because that's about how much I get out of what I play in Planar Chaos. I play Archangel Elspeth, that's right. And then I play Porcelain Gallery. So I'm getting about +30/+30 on the table every turn. So, yeah, have fun with that, Johnny. See what you can build. Quill Slinger Bogger, I'm sorry. When you cast a Kithkin creature, well, why on earth would I cast a Kithkin creature in a Goblin deck? Goblins are a shit tribe. Kithkin are a shit tribe. You want me to play them both together, do you now? So I got even less synergy between the two. What do I get out of playing it together? I get my opponent losing 2 life. This effect can trigger up to 5 times a turn. Okay. Rebellion of the Flamekin. When you cast a card with Clash, create an Elemental Shaman token. I'm sure there are not enough cards with Clash to make that even slightly relevant. Even though that's giving you your massive Changeling Leader +7/+7. I'm absolutely positive there aren't going to be enough good. In fact, I don't think there's going to be one good card with Clash in this set. Rings of Brighthearth. I think this was Goz's spoiler card. And I don't like it. When an activated gem is destroyed for the first time each turn, destroy and trigger 2 of your activated gems. I mean, it's win more. That's immediately what I think when I see it. Clearly, you don't need this for something like Demolition Field. Demolition Field is just fine. You know, you can always find one of those 10 activated gems on Demolition Field. And if you can't, you can quite easily cast a Golden Wish or attempt with Discovery by fetching it with your Mystical Teachings and making a bunch of them pop. You don't need it for that. So what's being suggested for Rings of Brighthearth is something like Pyromancer's Goggles. Going back to Origins again, there's a lot of links, it seems, between this set and Origins. That's the kind of thing we'd be looking at for Rings of Brighthearth. We're looking for activated gems that have a really powerful effect, but probably not loads of them, because if there's loads of them, then, you know, we don't really need it. But here's the thing. If I've got a Pyromancer's Goggles, what I want is something to help me pop the activated gems. Because if they all end up in really inconvenient places, Rings of Bright Half isn't going to help, is it? So I want to play my Pyromancer's Goggles, which admittedly I never play with. But I want to play it with something that helps me pop the gems and not something that gives me an extra bonus when I do pop the gems. It's win more. I don't like it. Ring Skipper. Dies or loses a reinforcing class. If you win, create a copy of this card in your hand. I mean, I kind of like have we seen a mechanic where a creature keeps copying itself? Obviously, this card is absolute garbage. But come back to this one, Webcore, and maybe make a... You've got to make the trigger better. When this creature dies or loses a reinforcement, that's not very interesting, is it? You know, the trigger's got to be better. And obviously the card itself has got to be better. It can't just be a 1/1 that does fuck all. And it can't have Clash on it, because Clash is rubbish. You know? I want to see like a Harbinger of a Tide that, you know, that makes a copy of itself every time you draw a card. Is that too powerful? Surely not. Yeah, all right, maybe a little bit too powerful. But do you see what I mean? Yeah? You can have creatures that make multiple copies of themselves. So do it and do it much better. Root Grapple. We're going to keep going until we get to a good card. Apparently we're not. No, we've already seen Scion of Una, haven't we? And it's rubbish. So I think we'll stop here, actually. So Root Grapples is 11 mana, Colours of Magic. Destroy a random non-token artifact or enchantment. If you control a tree folk, draw a card. Pants. I hate this set. I really, really hate this set. It depresses me. Do I have to do the other part of it? I don't have to, do I? Can I just give up forever? Can I just retire? No, for my sins, I really can't. I'll be back again at some point later in the week. We'll get through the last 70 or so cards in the set. See if maybe there's one more thing. Because the cards that I've liked, I kind of like Dread. You know, I I like Nettlevine Blight in the alternate reality sense of it. You know, which means that it's not actually good. I just wish it was. You know, so I can't really drop that in. But Dread, I think, might be better than that. Dread might actually see a little bit of play. But yeah, there's just a lot of absolute garbage in this set, and I hate it. But Lorwyn Eclipsed is coming. So that's going to be even more tribal interactions. So you were excited by the tribe. We did see the elves earlier, didn't we? You know, there might be some people getting a little bit excited about the tribal interactions of these big elves here. That's the best we've seen with the tribal interactions. And everything else has been absolutely rock bottom. So the fact that we're going to get more Kithkin and more goblins and more fairies and more tree folk in the next set is kind of depressing. I mean, you'd hope that, you know, these cards will be more powerful in paper now, certainly, because, you know, they're designing more for Commander, I suppose. They've got a more design sensibility, and there's been some power creep, you know, and they want to make things splashier. So you would hope maybe that cards are better in paper, but that might not translate across to our game. We might just end up with another set of Lorwyn. Oh God, I'm barely getting through this one with my sanity intact, and we've got another one coming in 2 months. Khans! I want Khans! Right? We can't do anything about Lorwyn. That's all locked in now. That's the next set. But the set after that is going to be Universes Beyond. And I want Khans. Why do I want Khans? Because it's a 3-colour set. Khans of Tarkir, the original Khans of Tarkir. It's a 3-colour set, and maybe there's a little bit of a chance they'll accidentally make some good cards, like they did with Streets of New Capenna. This is not a given, because let's not forget we've just had a Khans set, haven't we? We just had Dragonstorm. a Tarkir set, sorry, Dragonstorm, and that was a 3-colour set, and that was full of garbage. But if you were to ask me what I would want for the next set when we don't get a Universes Beyond, I'd say Khans and make some good cards. And maybe even some 3-colour Planeswalkers. How about that? When was the last time we had a Planeswalker that was good? We had a Minotaur, didn't we? Yeah? We had a plane. I've bought 3 different planes. The last 3 Planeswalkers I've bought this year, I just threw them in my roster and then promptly forgot about them. You know, we need, if you're going to make Grist, if you're going to make Planeswalkers as good as Grist, and then everyone says, no, Grist is fine, Grist isn't broken. I mean, fine, let's assume you're correct there. You're not, you're wrong, but let's assume you're correct. If you're going to make a Grist, you've got to make some more like Grist, haven't you? You can't just make one good Planeswalker every 2 years. That's no way to keep the game going, is it? So what I'm saying is that if they make Khans of Tarkir, maybe we'd get some 3-colour Planeswalkers. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Right, when am I coming back? I'm coming back on... it's Sunday tonight, isn't it? I don't know. So not tomorrow. Tuesday. Maybe Tuesday. Maybe we'll try and get on for Tuesday and try and finish off the entire set for Tuesday. I'm not hopeful there's going to be anything in it. I mean, I like the way that I'm, you know, managing to build up my crystals and my jewels for a future set that may be good, but I'm starting to worry that there will never be another set that's good again. We'll see. Or, you know, maybe we have to wait till rotation, and then we can start looking at cards like Nettlevine Blight. But by then, you know, most of the player base will have just left. It's always sunny, isn't it, in Magic Puzzle Quest. Goodbye, everybody. I'll see you all soon. Take care.